You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Kerry Greenaway and Mark Manley on the Dark Mirror Paranormal Show, only on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Dark Mirror Show. I am your stunning, charming host, Mark Manley. My other host, Kerry Greenaway, you know, the lush. She's there in the background. And we also have the lovely Caz Rooney, who the show is all about her tonight and what she got up to this week. So please say hello, you guys.
Hi.
Hi.
So you went to 30 East Drive this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I went there on Monday and stayed until Thursday.
And did you have any meetings with the infamous Fred at all?
The infamous Fred. We did have activity.
Right, so tell us a bit about what you've done. But before I do that, I must say to you guys out there that 30 East Drive is in Pontefract in Yorkshire, which, coincidentally, I'm in Yorkshire, and so is Caz. And it's allegedly one of the most haunted, poltergeisty type places in the UK. Never been there. I do intend to go there one time, but a certain member of a paranormal group who shall remain nameless has been there as well and said, and I quote, "It was all right." So, let's have your take on it.
Well, it's an interesting house. It certainly has activity. I wouldn't... As for the Fred thing,
You keep
I can't
cutting.
say it's Fred. Do you know what I mean? There's something in that house.
Yeah.
And it does feel, at times, it's kind of hard to explain. At times it does feel kind of sinister.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go as far as to say it's definitely Fred, or what is everybody perceives to be Fred, or what everybody says is Fred. But it's definitely an interest in the house.
Well, let's give a little bit of the history on it. Jean, Joe, Philip and Diane Pritchard originally moved into the house in August 1966. And according to them, during that summer, it was really hot, and Philip and his grandmother first witnessed what they thought was a fine layer of chalk-like dust falling down from the ceiling. But it was falling from a level that was actually below head height, of all things. Green, gunge and oozy, foamy stuff was supposed to have come out of the taps. The toilets, personally, I think they probably had a dodgy curry the night before. And one of them slipped over in water, and every time they tried to mop up the water, more pools of water appeared on the lino. And that was just the beginning of quite a few years of inexplicable events. And as I say, green foam, water turned off, tea dispenser being activated, lights being turned on and off, plants leaping out of their pots, landing on the stairs, cupboards shaking violently, photographs being slashed with a sharp knife, cats and dogs living together, total mayhem. So, what happened when you were there?
Well, when I went on Monday, Monday evening was okay. It didn't feel... This is my second visit to East Drive. it didn't feel quite as weird as it did the first time I went. When we went in the Monday, it was actually quite calm.
Yeah.
It feels like a normal house at times, and at other times, it doesn't.
How does it feel at other times?
Other times it feels, well, classic example. We were sitting and everyone was in the kitchen in the living room on Tuesday night. I think it was about 11:30 at night, and I literally was looking at the door in the kitchen. I thought, I'm going to go out in the hallway and take some photographs while it's really, really dark.
Yeah.
All waiting going up the stairs. So I've walked through the door. There's a single door and there's double doors. I went through the single door, walked into the hallway, and I didn't quite get to the stairs where I've got this feeling that I shouldn't go any further forward.
Yeah.
So I went back into the kitchen and said to Lee, another guy who was there, I says, I want to go and take pictures, but it feels really different in the hallway all of a sudden. It didn't feel like that earlier. So it ended up, everyone's piled behind me, and we've all went out into the hallway and started taking pictures. As I was standing at the bottom of the steps, I've taken about 7 or 8 pictures from the same spot.
Yeah.
I just kept taking them, but in the very last picture there is a white mist above the clock.
Okay.
Near the ceiling.
You think it was?
It's little things like that happen. We've got some EVPs. They've still to be sorted out. And there was 4 guys there on Monday evening who wanted to set up their CCTV system. They did that. And when I was watching that about 9:05 at night. They were all upstairs. They set it up, the monitor in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And there's actually 2 videos on the group page of one's of one orb, which comes from the ceiling in the hallway and goes down past the steps and into the floor. And about 5 minutes later, there's 2 orbs that seem to be overlapped and travel up past the stairs and back into the ceiling again.
Okay.
So,
what do you make of it?
I feel like there's something in the house. What it quite is, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, Kerry, you know a bit more about the place than I do, because quite frankly, I've been at work all week and, pretty much drunk as well. So if you'd like to fill us in on a bit of your knowledge there, that'd be helpful.
Well, this is a bit of a strange house, in my honest opinion, because it all focuses around the family, the Pritchard family, as you said right at the beginning, and all the major activity seems to have occurred around them. I mean, I'm not going to go over that again because that's what you did, but there was 2 things that struck me, firstly, about this, was that the age of the children. Diana was 12. That's puberty. And in regards to, like, if you think about the Enfield haunting, it was all, supposed to be because of the puberty, and that sets off, triggers, and it usually passes once you've gone past the puberty point. The activity normally kind of like peters out or finishes or something along those lines. Now, some of the activity that they had was a little strange. I did try to find out any information I could from like a builder's point of view, because they had just had the house recently redecorated when this phenomenon started. So, like the white powder falling, I was thinking, could it have been dust from the... Oh, sorry, my dog's having a wander. Could it have been the dust from like the plasterwork they might have had done at the time and stuff like that? So it was a little strange. Now, it didn't stop them from living there, though. That's the whole point.
Oh, I know. And they were supposed to be slapped and God knows what else.
If it was as extensive as, that they made it out to be, from the reports I read on the website and stuff, and some of the things people have said about it, then why did they live there for that amount of time was another little thing in my head. I mean, it then got sold to the owner that owns it now. And there is a theory and a thought out there that we will address it, is that he's just bought it and he's using it as a cash cow. As Laura Wadsworth has said in the chat room, she said it's just the whole house is fake and it's a cash cow for paranormal groups. However, you've been there. I haven't actually been to this location yet. And you do feel that there is something there. You don't think it's as prevalent or as active as something like some of the shows that I watched. Which
choosing your words carefully.
I'm choosing my words very carefully. As some of the shows that are out there on YouTube that I saw whilst looking into this little one. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
The thing is, it's...
Have you seen what Laura's just said about the white powder?
Yeah, I have, except the activity was supposed to fall from mid-air all around the living room, which actually would be backed up if it was coming from a chimney rather than the ceiling, which everybody would assume. If you get white powder falling, everyone looks straight up at the ceiling and not necessarily look at other areas from where that is. Now, the only thing I would say is surely with that amount of white dust coming from a chimney, you would have seen it from the chimney at the time. I don't know. I mean, I was talking to a builder and he was like, I can't really understand why that would happen. No more than when I spoke to a plumber, he could really explain why alleged green foam is supposed to be coming from the faucets. But at the end of the day, we're open-minded. We're not sitting here saying that it is haunted, it isn't haunted. We're just looking at it as a case study, really. And being as Caz has been there this week, it's worth looking into because it is billed as the most paranormal haunted house in Europe. And it does have regular investigations. I mean, God, I was looking into, on YouTube, there are so many teams that have been to 30 Years Drive.
Well, the thing is as I've said before, and as Caz and yourself, we've talked about, I think as a team, we should go there and possibly record an episode of the show there. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we should.
What say you, young lady, Kerry?
Well, you know me, I'm up for any kind of investigation, particularly if it's billed as the most haunted location in Europe, just to see how it feels for myself, really, because I don't scare easy. And I do like to...
Yes, you do, especially when people walk out and say hello to you.
People jump out on me. No, I don't scare particularly easy in regards to paranormal stuff. It's real life people that scare me more, in all honesty. And I'd like to experience it for myself, just because of the hype, I suppose, that's surrounding it. And actually go in with, cold eyes and logical eyes and actually, see what I think for myself on this particular location.
I think we should all go.
So many rumours about it, so many alleged accounts, so many different things as opposed to have happened in this house. If you believe what you saw on certain TV programmes, then my goodness, that's going to be a great investigation. I'm all over that because I've never had that kind of activity when I'm out and about an investigation. And,
how did you say all that in one breath? Good grief.
I know. It's a talent I have.
Let's change the subject. Yeah, we know all about your talents, young lady.
Sorry. One thing I do want to point out, what Kerry was saying, I mean, there is so many teams go there and there is so much investigations go on there. And there is that view that it is a cash cow, basically for the new owner.
No, and I completely understand that. And I've heard that from quite a few other teams as well. Yeah. And you have as well, haven't you, Kerry?
Yeah.
One thing I would like to point out, there is other locations that are just as popular who charge a lot more money.
Yeah.
And they don't allow you to be in there as long.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, yourself being an investigator, you must have gone to, any investigator out there listening is worth their salt, will turn around and say, most of the time when you go on investigations, the only thing you really do catch is a cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do think there may possibly be something there, but I think a lot of it is hype from the previous owners. I think it may possibly be turned to a financial advantage.
Yeah, I can understand that. The one thing I can't dismiss from the house, which is really... I can't explain it. I can explain it for me. I can't explain it for the other 29 people that were there with us.
How many?
Well, there was 10 of us each night.
Oh, okay,
well,
sorry. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a hell of a group for one.
It was like a party.
That's what she was actually doing. She's been drunk most of the time, you know.
When you go upstairs, I mean, I have asthma. It's well known fact I have asthma and I have a horrible cough. But when you go upstairs, you can't, it's a really, really heavy feeling upstairs in the house and you can't breathe. And I can't dismiss that for everybody who was there because everybody's complaining of the same thing. That's one thing I can't dismiss.
Okay.
Oppressive, really oppressive feeling.
Just a really heavy feeling in it. You literally feel like you can't breathe. At times
Can I ask a question, Caz?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you feel that it's haunted, if it is haunted? Why would you feel that this entity, we'll call it an entity rather than label it the Black Monk or anything like that. Let's call it, why do you think it is haunting that location?
Well, see, the thing is, I have tried to find out why. There's a well between the two houses. But the lady who lives next door, Carol, the part of the well that is on her side was completely blocked up. But for some reason on the side of 38 Drive, it's only covered up. So why was one side blocked and the other side wasn't?
That sounds a bit odd, especially when you consider a well. It may probably got two openings, but, you know.
I think what it was is there was something put in the middle and it was blocked off at one end to build one house, and then when they were building the other, they didn't block it off. What they've done is they've just covered it up. And I don't know if that's happened.
One of the things I'll ask you, when you were there, did you or anybody else who was there at any point feel as if they were being hit, slapped, punched, pushed, or see any pairs of hands, especially hands in ladies' gloves, appear?
No. What did I put it was the first night actually, on the Monday night, we went up to Philip's bedroom. And there's an old-fashioned square TV up there, you know, like one we get in the 70s, the little black one. Yeah. So that's quite wide, and I had a tiny little torch thing. So I put the torch on the TV, and it came flying off at me. So I thought, I haven't put it on properly, and I put it back up. By this point, somebody's went live on the group, and the torch came flying back off and hit me again.
And it wasn't on at an angle or a slope or anything like that?
No, because it's quite a wide TV, and my torch was only, say, about 3 inches long. So I've just sat it on top of the TV on the square part of the TV. And it's the first time I put it down to me. The second time, I'm not entirely convinced it was my fault.
I think, really, but I mean, it's a very controversial place, to say the least, because you've got naysayers, you've got, oh yes, it's haunted, and then you've got the proper paranormal investigators who, like yourself, Kerry, and myself, and Jay, who's in the chat room, and a few of the others, who will go, well, and take a realistic approach and go, well, okay, let's go along, let's have a look, see what's there. And you yourself said, you know, there's an oppressive feeling upstairs, so there may be something there, there may not be something there, but I do think that as a radio show who's worth its salt, and as a team, we should go there and find out for ourselves. I
think we should.
And please excuse the slurping in the background. The paranormal pooch is having a drink. I'm terribly sorry.
It's one of them places you have to go and make up your own mind.
Yeah, I'm just... Yeah, I reckon you're going to have to, because I mean, as I say, you live nearish to me. I live in Yorkshire as well. So I think when Kerry comes down here, if we can keep her sober enough, then I think all of us, including Lynn, should go and investigate.
Yeah, I think we should.
I definitely think it's worth a visit to go and have a look at it and do some of the things that we do on investigations, just to see what it's like. I mean, as I say, it's all over the internet. It's one of the most common places that people want to go to because of this history. Now, I want to just bring on to the fact that because everybody's in there investigating on a regular basis, do you think, from a psychological point of view, people are building up that energy themselves in the location? So it's not actually haunted, it's just a manifestation, like the Phillips experiment kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think there could be, yeah. We had two ladies. I found it impossible the very last night, the Wednesday night. We did bits of things. We did some stuff, but I found it impossible. We had two ladies with us who had never done an investigation before. They've never been to an investigation before. And I was very mindful of them being... They were literally scared from the minute they walked in the door, and me trying to explain to them that they shouldn't be scared and there's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah.
Just to find out, just to go along and find out. But literally at times they were squealing their heads off.
Oh, goodness.
That sounds like an episode of a show. I can't think what it's called. Anyway, I think if people go in there who've never been, to a paranormal investigation or... Yeah. I mean, we do commercial ones, but we also do private ones as well. So, we all know the score. But I think if you go in there with that preconceived notion that this is the most haunted place and blah, 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 you're going to go in there and you're going to jump at anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that was basically the situation.
Yeah, I think it needs some seasoned people. Some seasoned people who have very good brains on their shoulders to go in there. Why I'm with you, I don't know, but I'll come along as well.
What is I've actually contacted the owner about going back, but if we go back, obviously I want my team there. There's 5 of us, yourselves there, so I think that's more than enough.
I agree.
I think if you've got too many there, you can convince it.
Because the house isn't actually that big as well, I think that's something you need to be very, very aware of, because the house itself isn't that big. To put the controls in place that you need to do and get it, cross-contamination and stuff like that, you have to keep it really small.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, and I think I should bring all the cameras and night vision stuff and set up some trap cams and everything like that, so we can do proper scientific experiments and just see if and what or is there.
So, Kaz, when you were there, you were there for, as like you said, a few days, and there were times where you was alone in that house.
Yeah.
When you was completely alone with nobody else there, how was that? You slept there, didn't you?
Everybody left. They came Monday evening. I think everyone has left by about 10:30 in the morning. So basically I spent my time getting things sorted for everyone else coming. But I'd been up the whole night with one of the ladies who was there Monday night. She was thrown up the whole night. I stayed up until about 5:30 in the morning. I slept till about 7:30. 2 hours sleep isn't enough for anybody, so I set things up. I went to get something to eat, went to shops, got some bits and bobs, and I came back. I fell asleep about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the sofa. And I woke up about 4 o'clock.
Were you in good spirits when you woke up? See what I did there?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I knew that Adam, who's part of my group, my team, I knew he was arriving about 5. So when I woke up, I just had a cup of tea and got myself sorted and got everything sorted for everyone coming, and I felt okay. But at various times...
Somebody's got the horn. Yeah, carry on.
At various times, I did kind of feel weirded out, but I put that down to me being on my own. But I did put it down to me being on my own.
The thing is,
You want to give...
Sorry, even if you go to like a friend's house and you they go out and you're left in your friend's house on your own, you can feel weird, can't you?
Yeah, you can. So I just put it down to me.
It's difficult to say that it's that particular house, because I say I've stayed at friends' houses, they've gone out, I've been left alone in their house, and it feels weird.
There is a couple of things though that I do want to bring up about this house that I can't explain away. There is Lorraine, who's also part of the team, came on the Tuesday evening with Lee.
Would you like to mention you'll give your team a shout?
Who, all of them?
The team as a whole?
Yeah, Entity Seekers, well, they're part of our team, but there's Lorraine, Lee, myself, Melody and Adam. And Lorraine and Lee joined us on the Tuesday along with Adam.
Yeah.
But we'd done a live in the living room that evening. And she had a REM pod. On it, so we put another battery in it. Battery. We went through 5 fresh batteries and it would not work.
Did you take it outside and try it?
Yeah, we done everything. It would not work. We were literally really annoyed with this thing.
That's strange, because normally if you take it out of the situation, think they'll stuff like that will work.
Or no, it won't, because it's a fault with the machine.
That's what we thought. But an hour and a half later, it was working again.
Okay.
Now they've all left, apart from Adam. Adam stayed on the Wednesday. So we had some alphabet tiles, which I set up. There's a little table thing in the hallway. So I just scattered them randomly all over, but you'll probably see the video on the group. We put 2 cameras on it because we were going out. We went live and told everybody, we're putting cameras on these, we're going out to get something to eat and do stuff, and we'll check them when we come back. So we went out, we went to shops, we went for something to eat, and when we came back up, we were out about an hour. We came back up to the house. We went into a hallway to check on the cameras, and Adam's camera says it had been recording for 12 minutes, and my camera said it had been recording for 5 minutes. So there's something weird, equipment-wise, in the house. It does play up.
Is there any pylons or anything near there?
Any what? Sorry.
Pylons, you know, the things that carry electricity?
No, not that we saw, no. Not close.
And there's no radio masts or anything?
No, not close.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I think we do need to have a look, and to be absolutely honest, I'm having a potter around Yorkshire this weekend anyway, because I've got to go and look at a few things. So if I might head out that way and have a look around the area. But interestingly, I know that he said there's a lot of quartz in the bedrock, and when I do investigating before, I always used to look into see what the bedrock is. So if there is a lot of quartz, I mean, it could be holding energy of some type. But
that would actually be inclusive of the whole area, because when I looked into the geology of the actual area, the whole area actually has glass quality sand around that area. It got mined. It's a little way away from there. It's more on the outskirts of Pontefract, but it has got that kind of in the soil and stuff. Yeah, and there is a lot of streams, underground streams and stuff like that around that area coming off the River Calder, which I found quite interesting. But that still doesn't explain to me why it's focused on that particular property.
Yeah, that's something that Carl said in the chat room. And he said that it's been bugging him about this location, as it's been, exactly as he said, hyped to the hilt. And you're completely correct about that. And yes, there have been so many people who claim claim it's that active. But as he says himself, lots of locations have had people die in it. Lots of houses in all around the country have had people die in it. Why this one location? Why is this one location so apparently bad?
That's the thing.
That is the thing. Now, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to keep looking a little bit more at 30 East Drive.
Hello, Harry Price here. Good evening. If there's nothing myself and everybody else enjoy here on the other side more is the sit back and relax and listen to Parasearch Radio with its paranormal news, views and reviews from across the UK and beyond. Make sure to find out more about them on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web, whatever they are, to keep up to date with all their broadcasts throughout the week. And I hope you enjoy them as much as we do over here. Hello? Is anybody there?
Go. Oh, that's me. I pressed the wrong button. Oh, that went well, didn't it? Go, Mark.
Are you sure you wouldn't? Do you want the dog to go or the cat or Welcome back to the show, and as you can see, it's usual Friday Night Mayhem with I tell you what, very drunk co-host. That's what it is.
Hardly.
I'm getting started these days.
Honestly, I'm going to sack him in a minute if he carries on with this because I'm sober as a judge tonight.
Yeah, are you feeling okay?
No, honestly, I had too much last night. That was the problem. Anyway, back to 30 East Drive, Mark.
Yes, you carry on.
Okay, so before we were talking about why is it this particular location? And there's so many theories out there as well. Like there's supposed to have been a gallows near there. And this monk was supposed to have been hung from these gallows. And that's why he's focused on this particular location. And that, in my opinion, doesn't hold water either.
It's like Diane supposedly being dragged up the stairs, kicking and screaming by her hair, and had clearly visible finger marks on her throat.
There is actually two stories, and it all centres around that well. One story is that the monk was hung and thrown down the well. There was a little girl who was raped and murdered, and he got blame of it. That's one story. The other story is it was actually his brother who raped and murdered the girl, but he got the blame of it, and he was hung and thrown down the well. But it centres around the monk being thrown down that well after he was hung.
But he was a well-hung monk.
Oh my God, your jokes get worse.
I think we need to have Jay and Teresa come over from America and join us at 30 East Drive. Jay, if you're listening, you and your missus, come over.
Honestly, there's so many things we want to do together with Jay and Teresa, both in America and in the UK. I'm sure that will happen at some point. But back to what... Okay, the thing is...
Yeah.
Okay, 30 East Drive. We go back to... Why? Yes, there's a well. Yes, there's a coal cellar. Yes, there's loads of stories about it, but none of it really adds up to me with this particular location. Yeah. But people go there week after week. It's hyped up. It's regularly investigated, and it just still doesn't add up in my head for this particular location.
I have tried to find information about this monk to get some sort of proof that this monk was hung and this monk's body was thrown down this well.
Well-hung monk, yeah.
But I cannot.
I mean, Ashley has actually just said something in the chat room, which we have addressed this. We have said this, that basically it could have been a poltergeist activity surrounding the child, the Diane, 12-year-old child, and then usually they go when the puberty's passed or whatever and whatnot. But now it's been taken over. Paranormal people are going in there with a certain expectation, and they're mentally basically building up that kind of energy. We'll go with energy. And that's what's actually transforming into alleged activity. And then also you've got, as I say, how your mindset is when you go in there. You go in there knowing the hype. You go in there knowing that this is supposed to be the most haunted location in Europe, and many, many teams on TV have done it, and they have all experienced certain expectations of activity. You then go in with those expectations of that activity. So, is it that is creating this environment now?
Well, yeah, you've also got, I mean, The Sun sent a reporter, Antonella Lazzari, into 30 East Drive last October. And in her report, she said she lasted 5 minutes. And then she ran from the house.
Come on, Mark. That's not investigating.
Excuse me, Mark talking, be quiet.
Sorry. Carry on then, Oracle of the Sun.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, A, it's The Sun. B, it's a reporter. C, I'm not going to repeat because it involves swearing. So I personally don't believe a word of that. But it all adds to the hype.
Exactly. It adds to the hype. It adds to the scare factor. It adds to the... and why did some reporter go there in the first place? Did that actually come from the owner who invited that reporter along? Those are the things that you need to start thinking about when you start looking at something billed as the most haunted location in Europe. Do you know what I mean? You have to take those mindsets into consideration. I mean, it is hired out. Well, it so much. So many teams do it. But then, argue the point, so many teams go to other locations every weekend as well, like the Ragged School, like Drakelow Tunnels, and we're not caning them for being cash cows.
Exactly. I mean, did you come to Drakelow Tunnels? I can't remember. No, I don't think you did you? I've been to Drakelow Tunnels, and again, same thing. There's a lot of hype to it, but there is an atmosphere there. But I think the atmosphere is basically because it's cut inside a cliff, and it's dark and dingy and cold. And I think that all adds to it. The same with the house. I think because you got all the hype, and it is old, and there is a lot of old stuff there. I think that just all adds to it. And as Ashley and Carl were talking about, they could basically, with everybody going there with preconceived ideas and the energies that creates, it could be creating its own entity.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is another thing that Carl said regarding your REM pod. You were talking about the issues you were having with your REM pod. He said you do have to be so careful with the make of batteries used, as some cheap batteries can cause false responses with REM pods.
Yeah. It wasn't actually mine, it was Lorraine's. But, I mean, she had fresh batteries, I had fresh batteries. She tried them. There was actually myself... I can tell you who was in them. There was myself, there was Emma, there was Tony who joined us for the evening, and there was Lorraine. But we kept trying these batteries, wouldn't work. An hour and a half later, it started working again. I don't know what happened there. I really don't know what happened there. Mm-hmm.
Was it just that REM pod, or did any other equipment go down?
Yeah, I mean, the cameras were playing up big time. We kept charging these up all the time. When we weren't doing things, we were putting things back on charge automatically in case we needed them again. But we did have problems with cameras. Sorry?
I was going to say, was it cold there? Was it like strangely cold, or was it just mere old house cold?
No, it wasn't even cold. If anything, we kept complaining it was too warm at one point. But the heating wasn't on. We made sure that wasn't on and just opened windows for, a little while. We couldn't keep them open for long. Because it's a really strange thing, but people actually just get in the car and drive to the house to come to the house.
Yeah.
And knock on the door and ask, is this a haunted house? We actually were coming out on Tuesday morning and opened the front door. And some guy was just standing there, and I was like, oh, hello, can I help you? And he went, is this a haunted house? And I went, yeah, why? And he went, because my wife's really into paranormal and she'd be really thrilled to see this. And I went, I'm sorry, I can't let you in. But they literally just drive up to see the house.
Hmm. That must be very off-putting through your time there.
It is, because you don't know who's going to come knocking on the door.
Now, one other thing I would like to ask you, Caz, when you go into the location...
Yeah.
There are signs everywhere, aren't there?
There is signs on the front door, the door leading into the kitchen on your left-hand side. It's just basically house rules that the owners have put up.
Okay, and what are those house rules?
No Ouija boards, no alcohol. If any pictures and things you take, Bill and Nellie have the right to those as well. You're responsible for your own safety. They're not.
Didn't Bill make a film about 4 years ago?
Do you know what? The only time Bill has actually been in that house was for the premiere of that movie, and he was in the house for 10 minutes and he came back out. He doesn't go into the house.
Bill Bungay, yeah?
Yeah, he doesn't go into the house.
Okay.
He has other people look after the house, one of which is the lady next door, Carol.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go into the house.
Okay.
But he did. There was a movie
Do you
made of it.
think, then, going back to the signs that are in now,
Yeah.
do you think that sets your mindset in a specific way? I mean, I know you're there for a paranormal investigation, but it's all like mental triggers.
Not really, because anything he's got posted up on the door, it might do to people that come in and haven't done an investigation before. But I mean, when you book the place, you do obviously get information sent to you. There's nothing on that door that isn't already in the information anyway, and it isn't something. He hasn't put anything drastic up there. Do you know what I mean? That would make you put you in a fearful state of mind. Do you know what I mean? It's just basic common sense rules.
But they're geared to paranormal investigations, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a question on this factor are there pictures referencing previous investigations and the history of the location there?
As you walk in the house, if you walk in the front door, on your right-hand side, you've got a little toilet, and it is just basically a toilet. You have the coal cupboards, and in front of you, there is a room, which I basically call the storage room, but they have all sorts of pictures and things up there from previous investigations and people that have been there, and I believe I actually sent them to you, Kerry, in that little room. All those little information are all over the place. I don't bother with that room. I don't. Other people have gone into it, so yeah, there is information in there.
Okay, and that does set the mindset into your expectation.
Yeah. But I mean, what I can definitely say to you is there's not going to be any knives appearing in sofas, and nobody's going to get dragged upstairs by a rope, and there's not going to be anybody getting their hair pulled and dragged upstairs and things like that. Things have been sensationalised, yes. I'm not arguing about that. Things have really been hyped up. But I still feel there's something in the house.
Okay.
So
I was just reading the chat room.
Location. I find it a fascinating location.
I think we need to go there and make our own minds up, definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Carla said in the chat room, does the neighbour get paid to look after the property? And Laura says, yes, she does.
Basically, when I've met Carol, the first time I met her last year, she let us into the house. She took us into the house. And she sat with us in the kitchen. She gave me the key and she said, right, upstairs. And she basically gave us an outline of where to go upstairs, what room's which upstairs. But she won't go upstairs. So I don't actually know who goes in and cleans the house. I don't know. But I know she definitely keeps the keys. And she does keep an eye on things, because you will get people in there, like the last night. Like I said, the two ladies were really scared, and you are going to get people who are in that mindset and are going to scream and jump slightest little thing, and that's what was happening. She's basically there to stop that from happening. Do you know what I mean? She can put people out if they need to be put out.
Yeah. So does she tell you what kind of activity is there, Carol, this is?
No.
No, she literally just says upstairs is the toilet, the bedroom, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, that's what she did with us. And then when I went there on Monday, I knocked on the door. Didn't get an answer, because you go to her house to get the key. There was no answer. There's an adjoining gate between the two gardens. She came through, and I said, well, I was actually here last year. She went, And she looked at all my stuff because I had so much stuff, and she went, "Are you having a party?" I said, "No, I'm here until Thursday." And she went, "Oh, so you know what you're doing?" Then she went, "Well, here's the key." She went, "You can just pop them back through on Thursday," and left me to it. So.
Okay, and you don't know who cleans the house? She doesn't clean it, no?
No.
Oh, that's who I want to talk to. I want to talk to the cleaner. You honestly don't knock a cleaner.
I know.
They can tell you some stories.
Cleaning it from top to bottom, and if anything's going to happen, it will happen. Well, there's one person in there.
Yeah.
Rather than a team or anything else.
Yeah.
In all honesty, that's the kind of person I want to talk to. Is somebody who's in there regularly doing just a basic job and getting on with their job, and then, if they have a cleaner, well, they must have a cleaner, I suppose.
Have a cleaner, yeah.
I think
because it is a bed and breakfast, isn't it?
No.
No,
I thought it was a bed and breakfast. You could hire it like as a B&B.
No.
Oh, I was wrong on that then. Sorry.
God, you were. Kerry Greenaway was wrong.
Research.
What I was going to say, guys, I think that you know yourself that when we go on investigations, I haven't worked with you yet, Caz, but I hope to. But Kerry has worked with me. When we go into places, I never go in there thinking it's haunted or anything like that. Yeah. So I think we need to go in there with completely level heads because, to be absolutely honest, I've got more questions about this place. And I think we should do another show at some point about our own investigation into it. But I think we should go in there with level heads because there's it's obviously creating a bit of debate in the chat room there, to say the least.
Particularly in regards to Carol. I mean, Carol was Laura again has said that Carol does go upstairs. And
does she?
She is the cleaner with her own paranormal East Drive Paranormal.
Well.
So she's telling you something different when you go.
She didn't that day when we went. Well, the first time we went was last October. She came into the kitchen with us. She basically told us the layout of the house, but she didn't come upstairs with us at all. And then the second time I went, obviously, which is Monday, she hasn't come into the house at all because I've already been there. So I can tell you how she's been with me. I can't say what's happened with that.
No, I know. You're
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can only go on what's happened to you and what you've experienced as a, person hiring the location. So,
she did, She did tell me that on Monday. She went, "It's all been hoovered," and I went, "Right, okay."
Okay. Well, this is it. The whole situation is, the trouble is, and I think this is the problem with this particular location, is that there's a lot of leads when you walk into the house. So there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of mindset triggers. You've got the hype that's surrounding this place, and you can't escape it. I mean, I did a basic search on this property, and honest to God, it was absolutely everywhere. It's been all over the TVs in just about every paranormal investigation program that there is. The most famous, obviously, is The Most Haunted Investigation, although that is highly disrespected in the paranormal field. It's still out there in the mindset of a lot of people that will go along on a public kind of investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the history is very vague. You can't back it up. You can't back it up. So it's all a lot of myths, folklore, hype, all surrounding this location, and you've got people going in week after week to do investigations in there. There's a lot about it that you can criticise about 30 East Drive.
Yeah, there is.
You can't get away from that, can you?
No, you can't.
I think we need to do a Parasearch radio investigation.
Well, yes, Mark, we've gathered that. We are going to do that, but we're talking about it tonight. Now, what I would like to do, that's blowing raspberries at me. What I actually would like to do if I was going to go there, I'd lock it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
I'd have a really, really small team. I wouldn't even go as far as I would literally have 2 or 3 people. That's it.
And the other thing is, when you do go in the house, you are told, Carol does warn you actually to lock the door. when everyone's in the house, because there has been people who have actually tried to just walk in the house as well when people have been there.
So again, how can you investigate something when you've got people knocking on the door? Or, oh, bless him. You've got people knocking on the door all the time going, oh, is this the most haunted house? You'll be like, come on. It's ridiculous, surely.
Well, you'll have me there as security anyway, so I can keep people away.
You'd need people at the end of the roads doing checks on anybody who drove into the road. Where do you live? You can't go to 30 East Drive. To lock it down properly, and that's what I'd like to do. Get your baseline test, really look at it, and look at some of the things that Laura said about, like the chalk coming from down the chimney. She said her granddad, I think it was earlier on, has exactly the same issue coming from his.
Yeah,
I do think there's a lot of questions in the air about this place.
There are an awful lot of questions in the air about this place.
There is a lot of questions, but like that says, it's one of them places you have to go yourself and you have to find out for yourself. Do you know what I mean?
I think we need to do that with a small group and Parasearch UK Radio first.
I would really do it with a really, really small group. I really wouldn't. In my opinion, if you was going to do it properly, because the location itself isn't very big at all, I would probably have 2 or 3 tops in there, in my opinion.
But what about we do this? For the sake of the radio show, I'm pretty sure my team won't mind if I say to them, right, it's just going to be me, Mark and Kerry that go, and that's it. And my team can go back at another point if they want to go back. But if we do it just as 3, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
And then it's the 3 of us.
Yeah, I'm fine up for that.
It's something we need to discuss, obviously, with your team and with, amongst ourselves as well.
Yeah.
That's something we would need to sort of resolve, because it is a lot of money. I mean, someone's just put in the chat room that it is £69 per person.
69?
For what?
For a night.
No, it isn't. No,
£500 for a night?
No, it isn't.
How much? Can you tell us?
It's on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, it's £300 a night. On a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's £400 per night. Now, when I go, see, I've got to be careful what I say here. When I go, obviously our group is non-profit.
Yeah, same as that.
Any money at all. So we're only charging for the price of the location. So you're allowed 10 people in the house. The team, including the guests that are going, all pay £30 each. We all pay our money.
Yeah.
All pay £30 each. So £60, £9 a night. And I mean, I do know where that's coming from, but those people don't even get a full night's investigation. They get put out at 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't put people...
So is that a public investigation you're talking about there?
Yeah, we do it differently. We go in there at 6 o'clock. The people that are joining us go in at 6 o'clock, and we have the house until 12 o'clock next day. Lunchtime next day, and everybody's welcome to stay until 12 o'clock next day. And they pay £30 each.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to dispute that, because I don't know myself. But, I haven't looked into that. But you know what you paid. You've just been there, and that's what you paid.
Yeah.
And so that's fact 2. And that's all we can say on that one.
Yes, as I say, I think it needs level heads. People who aren't going to go, "Oh my God!" and scream and throw a spanner or anything like that. I think it needs level heads in there. Small group, set up a few experiments, set up maybe a trap cam or 2, just see what happens.
Yeah.
I love that. Sorry, I'm going to just say this one. Laura's just put, you get then a £10 protection spell from ICD dead people next door. I'm not like I find that quite funny. I'm sorry.
I do like that.
I do think it's definitely worth going in rationally and doing a locked down investigation properly and doing a lot more research into things than, what's been said in the media, I think is the point on this one. But I do think it's worth going. I'm not going to sit here and say, it's all hype, I'm not going. Because if I had that mindset, I wouldn't do a lot of the locations that I do. And, that's what makes it interesting to me is, people have said time and time again they've had experiences. It's why do they think they're having those experiences? And we always go back to the why is this happening? Why do we have these experiences? And actually try and pin it down. And you can at least do that. And then if you come away and you go, wow, that wasn't very good, that was awful, I can explain it all, we had no activity, we had nothing, then you go, okay, well, you've ticked it off your bucket list and you move on. You know?
I mean, you can... I was going to say, when you come up, we can do the whole investigation thing around here as well, because there's quite a few locations around here I'd like you to have a look at, see what you think.
Yeah, maybe. Well, anyway, one last comment that was said in the chat room to do with the REM pod situation. I've got to find it now. Oh, gosh. It was to do with the voltage of batteries and stuff like that, to do with REM pods, if I remember rightly. That was Carl, who is an expert in regards to equipment. He'd be a good one to have because he knows to take it inside out, back to front, and can dismantle it and put it back together again on the night if we need him to. Just saying. And, as I say, I would like to go and do this, this location. Now, before we disappear for the evening, because we only have 4 minutes left, we've got a couple of shout-outs to do.
Yeah.
Of people that are out and about investigating this weekend.
Well,
so I'm going to do those now. We've got Jo Thackeray. She's going to the Armley Mills with Simply Ghost Nights. I have never heard of Armley Mills.
Neither have I.
Oh, see, poor old Ashley, he's going, please take me. I want to look into
bless
this
him.
location, please. Yes, Ashley, I will take you too. Do you think I would go to somewhere like this and not take you? Now, David Berzanti, he's going to Williamson Tunnels. Now, he is excellent, right, because he does voluntary work at Williamson Tunnels and he helps dig out the tunnels and help them with their findings and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, that sounds cool.
So that's really cool. He's doing also Drakelow Tunnels and Newsham.
Drakelow Tunnels, if you've never been, I do recommend it. But it may be worth another investigation, but it's definitely something to do once,
Well, Haunted Histories covered Drakelow this week. That was a really interesting show. That's on podcast, guys. Any of our shows, once they've gone aired, then they go to podcast, so you can catch up on any of the shows that we have done. And
the lovely Penelope.
Yeah. Everybody goes to podcast, and we're also on YouTube, so check us out and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch up on any of the shows. Now, guys, what are we doing next week?
Oh.
What are we going to talk about next week? We haven't actually talked about this.
Lycanthropy.
I'm trying to get a guy who knows all about lycanthropy, which is werewolfism, if you're not sure about that. I'm trying to get a guy on that knows everything there is to know about the history and folklore of werewolves and lycanthropy. So bear with me because I'm trying to pin him down. He's doing a lot of conventions at the moment over in America. But he has said he would do it. It's just pinning him down onto when he can do it. How about ghost ships next week, guys?
Ghost ships?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done Ghost Islands. I think we did something about lighthouses as well. I'm sure we did. But we haven't done ghost... Or have we done ghost ships? No, we haven't.
We haven't done ghost ships.
We can do that.
Yes.
And by the way, lycanthropy is not just about werewolves. There's also, in India, you've got were-tigers and they've all sorts of other things. I've even heard of weird zebras and weird giraffes, but quite honestly, if I saw somebody turn into a giraffe, I'd find that highly amusing.
Oh, my goodness. You do find some weird stuff out. Is that in the sun again, Mark?
No, it wasn't in the sun. It's actually in history books.
Anyway, that is about all we have time for tonight. Do not forget my show on Sunday is the Spirit Dimension. This week I'm talking with the lovely Alison Dunlop. We're talking about angels this week with her. So that's going to be an absolutely fascinating show. I love Alison Dunlop. She's absolutely brilliant at her subjects. So that's going to be really, really good. Next week we have shows going out every single night of the week. Don't forget to share and tell us what you think. And let us, share the word. Spread the word, guys.
Spread the love.
We're on Facebook. We have a group page and we have a like page. Like I say, all the shows are on podcast, on Spreaker and on YouTube as well. So on that note, thanks ever so much, Caz, for coming and telling us everything about what happened on your investigations this week.
And may I also say well done to you, Caz, because this is only your second show and it was you did really well. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark. We'll see you next week on the Dark Mirror Show. Good night, everybody, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.